and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the grand finals of the Code for Giants Cup number 19, your bi-weekly Brazilian tournament. Whew. Do apologize for the downtime, but of course we were just waiting for the upper semifinals to wrap up, and it has so concluded. And now we are here with the final series of the broadcast with a best of 5. And spawning in the bottom, oh, it's going for a 12 pool. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Amygdala, we have the Brazilian Zerg player, the red Zerg representing the CranKy Ducklings, as he is one of our own. It is Erik. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Brazilian Protoss, the blue Protoss player representing Team Hellfire. It is MasTeR. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck in the chat, as you have some time to get your gamba going. And we'll see how this story does conclude. Coming into this, MasTeR and Erik were the favorite players to meet in the finals, but Erik did stumble in his way. He had a very close series against Inexorable, and honestly, I can see a world where Inexorable will come out on top instead. I can definitely see a world where that does occur, as opposed to seeing Erik here. We will see Inexorable is very close, very clutch. Crazy comeback out of Erik, and now we returned. Now we have returned with the initial 12 pool. Now this is not an all-in. You can see here Erik is expanding, Erik is droning, but the Lings are moving out. Now MasTeR did scout the 12 pool with his probe scout, so he's aware. Back at home, he fully walls off the Zealots being chronoed as we speak, and likewise he's also setting up that delayed expansion. Two gateways, Cyber Core, Zealots being chronoed, has potentially a second pylon as well. The probe is in position, and already this 12 pool has caused damage, as the natural is going to be heavily delayed as a result. Erik throwing down his two hatcheries. Hatch into hatch opener once again. We saw this in game number 2 against Inexorable. We're seeing this here against MasTeR. If you recall, I do stand by this. I do think that this is a stronger build against Protoss, and we've seen Erik be very successful with this. As almost gets us around. Almost. He gets a lot of hits there on that Zealot. He looks like he's going to commit. Nice control. He pulls away. Does pull away. Oh, but Lings are now going down. The Zealot will eventually fall, but oh, not even. As Jesus, that's a very efficient trade. Zealot does fall, but Last Adept does pop out. And with that, Lings are cleaned up. Not the best trade there from Erik. Initially, he was doing well for himself, but did lose so many Lings in the process. Now he has to rebuild those Lings to survive against the Adept counterattack. And back, and remember, the queen count is going to be a little bit lower. We do have our second queen on the way. We're trying to build up, trying to stabilize. We'll see what MasTeR can get done. So he does waddle across the map. Hatchery is spotted. We'll threaten the shade into the main. So far, so good. Erik is keeping up. Adept taking a lot of hits. Shades out. Now we have a second Adept. Lings, they try to get us around though. Up! They try to, and they will. They lock down one of the Adepts. Massive catch. Adept gets surrounded. The other as well, taking a lot of damage, taking a lot of hold damage even. We'll shade away. We'll survive, and now we can try to settle in towards a standard game state. Again, a bit of an awkward game, just because of the openers, of course, with a more delayed expansion, delayed tech, delayed Stargate, with the Oracles on the way. And MasTeR typically does play this out in a more standard fashion. Typically. We'll see if that rings true here as well. We'll see if that does ring true. Oracle's moving out. Erik building up. As MasTeR does pivot in between the bases. Does pivot in between. No major damage yet. Behind this, going for an earlier, going for a Twilight Council. We should be seeing a Forge alongside this. Again, it's thrown down as the expansion is halfway done, and there is the Forge. So standard follow-up out of MasTeR, working towards +1 and Blink, I would imagine. Oracles are being active. It's on Erik here to keep up with the Oracles. We'll see if he can. Again, he only has 2 queens. As we mentioned, when it comes to this build of choice, the queen count stays very low for a lot longer. So Erik has to rely on those spores. Spores are in position. And now we have the Roach Horn as the follow-up. Now, something that Erik does really enjoy doing with this build is because of the excess larva, and because of the greater economy as well, he does enjoy going to Spire play, so lair into Spire is what Erik does. Enjoying on a map as large as Amygdala would make a lot of sense. Would make sense to come into the Spire. We'll see if MasTeR can keep up. If it is going to be a Spire, we'll see if MasTeR can scout. Now Link's poking in, overloading to the main, confirming the gateway explosion. How many gates? 6 so far. Maybe 6 gate setup. Erik is aware. Ooh, does cancel the Roach Horn, which is revealed, by the way. Very greedy here by Erik. Does skip roaches. He's going for that Spire. As we mentioned, he does like going Spire and does like going Mutas off of this build. But now he won't have any safety roaches, which is concerning to me at least. Is concerning. As MasTeR, he's not pushing though, he's clearing off the rocks. I was gonna say if MasTeR warps in, if he moves out, then he could try to deny the 4th base and may even successfully do so. As Erik doesn't really have anything to defend, but MasTeR doesn't push. Knocking down the rocks first. Knocks down the rocks. So here we go. MasTeR is pushing. Does push in, shaving of Lings. Likewise, as he moves out, Lings, they do hit the 4th. Trying to force a cancel. They're souls to defend back at home. So far, MasTeR is holding at the same time, going for the kill. Can he get it? Lings trying to buy time. Remember, Erik, he did skip roaches, and there's a cancel on the 4th base. Meanwhile, back at home, MasTeR defends. MasTeR defends, he attacks. Again, it was greedy here of Erik to try to go straight into Ling Hydra. Hydras are on the way, but Erik, he's in trouble. He is in trouble. Ling's trying to collapse in. Now, MasTeR blinking back. Shaving with more Lings. Shaving with more Lings, catching out some of the Hydras. Oof. Hydra's going down. And MasTeR backs up. Whew, does back off so far. Good trades out of MasTeR, picking off Lings, Hydras, the 4th base as well. Erik is stuck on 3 bases. We can see now Erik investing into some mutas, but the pressure is on the Zerg. Pressure's on, and MasTeR so far looking good. And with the MasTeR, he's going to be able to overwhelm. Breaks through the main army. Mutas are not going to help here in the defense. Breaking through. As Lings, they try to engage. So far, MasTeR trading well. Picking off those Lings. Mutas, they are getting some damage across the map. 9 probes going to be falling. Getting up to 10. Erik, he is forced back. Mutas, they're deflected. Likewise, expansion is denied. Alas, Erik, he does get another base was left inside, but he's down in economy, he's down in bases. Erik is struggling. These mutas they have a lot to get done, and they're not going to. They're not going to. Ling's trying to engage. Erik forced to retreat, rotating over. Again, there's a lot of pressure on Erik to try to get into a mineral line. Phoenixes have arrived, Storm is on the way, and MasTeR is looking solid. Looking very solid here. Again, a lot of it did come down to that first expansion falling. MasTeR able to punch the greed of Erik, and from there, Erik just hasn't been able to recover. has not been able to happen. And here comes the main push. Here comes the killing blow. Stalkers, Archon, Storm. It's a terrifying army. And as long as the Storms connect, I mean, even without the Storms, you could argue that this could still overwhelm. Here come the High Templar. Moving in. Music coming from behind. MasTeR pushing forward. Takes down the expansion. Storm will zone away. Base is going down. Ling Muta, he will take down the gold at least, but the main army cannot be stopped. That's the problem here. The main army is getting out of control. Massive Storm. Storm shuts down the Hydras. And Erik is being forced back. He's picking up a couple of High Templar, but alas, he just has nothing else left here. The Ling Muta's racing back home to defend. But how can the Mutas engage? Oh, Archon does fall. True. Archon goes down. The gold base is still standing, or at least is being rebuilt. Archon's getting picked up. Nice catch. Picks up an Archon. The Stalkers, they get another expansion. Erik down to 2 bases. 2 bases left. Ay, ay, ay. There's the recall. MasTeR saves most of his army. And he can just reinforce. So you can just reinforce, rebuild, more High Templar, more Archons. MasTER's still looking very comfortable. And Erik, how can he recover in this game? It would have to be with these Mutas. It'd have to be to get into a mineral line, but alas, his cannons, his shield batteries, natural, and the main base are more exposed. But he has been denied. And there are just so many Stalkers being active to just zone him away. Erik looking for another way in. Phoenixes, they trade well. MasTER moving in. Pushing on the south side. Rotating back around. He's rotating. Hoping to try to catch MasTER out of position. We'll get on top of the expansion. I mean, MasTER is out of position. But he needs economic damage. Takes down a cannon, takes down the shield battery. Gets into the mineral line, gets a couple of probes. At the same time, MasTER is pushing out at the same. He's just going for a base trade. He's going for a massive counterattack. Expansion's going to go down. MasTER's keeping up with the Mutas. So far is keeping up. Erik, he does knock down the base. Okay. Gets the expansion. The gold is still up and running here for MasTER. Erik, he's on a 3-base economy. Erik is still behind, but I'm surprised this happened here. Again, if MasTER wasn't out on the map, then Erik would not have gotten that base. So not a bad pickoff. Erik, he's still, I mean, now his chance here to come back in this game is a little bit greater. But oh, the Mutas, though, they get caught out. Oof. Yeah, a lot of Mutas do get picked off. Erik, he cannot take this fight. Does get one on the High Templar. Gets 2, gets 3. Oh my god. 10 Mutas for 3 High Templar. It's an okay trade. Still brutal here for Erik. But that means no more Storms. Hydras, they can try to hold their own. Charge was never researched. MasTER stepping up here. He has the money for it. The slow lots are coming in. Nice kiting by Erik. Does kite back. Trading very efficiently. Overlords are exposed. And Erik, he has to engage. He has to fight here and now. He has to make a stand that he just cannot. At the same time, Lings, they counterattack. They try to at least. 20 drones going down. Erik trying to engage. Mutas, they hit the mineral line. Lings, they race back home. GG gets called. MasTER, he will lose the economy, and MasTER taps out. Erik, he takes the game. GG. Oh my god. Erik. I mean, Erik, he was in a very well position here, and I would actually still say that MasTeR had the edge over his opponent. You can actually see here, if we look at the graph, Erik is the red line, MasTeR is the blue line. Like, MasTeR had a massive army advantage, but a lot of that supply towards the end was in Zealots. Remember, Erik, he reset the High Templar count. He sniped all the High Templar, and he was trading very well against the slow lots because they were slow, like they had no charge. So Erik, he was trading very efficiently. Likewise, MasTeR, he lost his mining base, he lost his economy as well. Like, very surprising losses there when it comes to his economy, when it comes to his bases. And Erik, he broke the spirit of MasTeR. He broke him. Let's go. GG, well played. Again, Erik, he refuses to give up, and for good reason. Crazy. GG. GG, well played. Erik, he takes the game. Oh my god. GG, well played. Erik, he does take the game. I was talking to Erik earlier, by the way, and I'm like, man, Erik, how'd you win? And you know what, Erik, he's laughing. He's like, lol. Specifically, Erik, he said LMAO. Oh my god. Let's go. Crazy. GG, well played. And here we go. We're getting into game number 2 here, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Frostline, we have the Brazilian Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing the CranKy Ducklings, leading the series 1-0. It is Erik. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the Brazilian Protoss player, the red Protoss. For Team Hellfire, it is MasTeR. Do you see someone asking in the chat about MasTeR, about who he is? MasTeR, if you've been watching the CranKy Ducklings, he has been competing for a very long time. I want to say that MasTeR started competing back in 2020, maybe 2019, like end of 2019 era of StarCraft. MasTER's been around for a very, very long time. And MasTeR currently is the best Protoss in Latin America. I did say that at the start of the series, but just to reiterate, he's the best Protoss in Latin America, more so than Mute. Mute is a newer player to the scene. I mean, I say newer player. Mute is technically a returning player, but he's still kind of rising through the ranks. I would definitely place MasTeR. I would maybe even place Shakti over Mute as well. But it's been great to see Mute's kind of like rising up in specifically 2024. It was 2024 where Mute really started leveling up last year. But currently still has a ways to go when it comes to the Latin American Protoss scene. As Erik is going to be going for his own hatch pool opener. Delayed gas. Delayed gas is here by Erik. Delayed gases, now taking the natural. Not the stonks. Not the stonks, Pat. The comeback king. He's crazy. He's crazy. He's the kangaroo, Pappy. Oh my god. Never count him out. Never. From here, Erik settling in, droning up, getting his 4th base as well. And again, welcome one and all to, of course, Frostline, as we do have Erik going for his standard opener here, going for delayed queens. Remember, only one queen. That's how he's able to afford a 2nd hatchery and his 3rd hatchery as well. No queen in the main base, no 2nd queen here at the natural, just now getting into it. It is a very greedy build here by Erik, and MasTeR, it looks like he's going for a 2-base all-in. It's a Robo first here from MasTeR. What does this mean? This means early War Prism. This looks like an Archon drop. We'll see. I'm leaning more towards a Prism into a Temple Archives into Archons. Otherwise, this could be fast Immortal production into like a charge-based all-in. There's a couple different ways here, but this is very aggressive by MasTeR. Is it the Prism? What do you have? Yep, War Prism. So this should be Archons. So Archon drop opener here out of MasTeR. As the Prism is going to move out. Twilight Council's done. Oh, wait, what? Never mind. Prism not into Archons, into Glaive Adepts. The Overlord will see everything, by the way. He sees the Robo, he sees the Twilight Council, sees it researching as well. So, alas, he's more or less aware of what's going on. And this is a peculiar build out of MasTeR. It is 4-gate Glaives, but he's getting here in a very different way. Because it's not 4-gate Glaives. We have another gateway on the way! 2 base all in. 2 base all in here out of MasTeR. As soon as the Overlord dies, he pulls in. He pulls in the gas. What does this mean? So 6 gases. When I say 6 gases, I mean 3 workers mining in each gas, guys. So 6 pros mining in total. 6 workers mining can facilitate for a 6-gate, 2-base Glaive Adept all in. And how many gateways do we have? So we have 2 gateways done. We have 3 more on the way, so 5 so far. We can afford an extra gateway. We can afford a 6-gate, but so far it's going to be a 5. And this is hyper committed, very aggressive here by MasTeR. And here come the Adepts, and we should be seeing even more Adepts behind this. And this is going to be a big delay on the 3rd base. Big delay on the 3rd for MasTeR. Let's go. As MasTeR is pushing. Ooh, okay. Now we see why it isn't 6 gateways. It's 5 gates with a Dark Shrine. So that's why we're not affording extra warp-ins. It's going to be for taking into DTs as well. So Glaive Adepts into DTs. Adepts a threat in the shade. Erik is keeping up. Drop into the main. Erik, he splits up his army. He's ready to wall off. Ooh, does wall in time. Lings are keeping up. So far, Erik trading well. Collapsing on the Adepts. We go for the warp-in. The Lings are going to be overwhelmed. We need Roaches. Yeah, Roaches are necessary in the main base, and no Roaches whatsoever. MasTeR, he's popping off. He's pulling Erik apart. Adepts at the 4th. Adepts in the main. Spawning pools under fire. And Erik, he did misjudge. He assumed that the Lings would be enough. They were not. And with that, MasTeR, he's popping up. And I don't see any detection. I don't see a lair. I'm sorry, there is a lair. My apologies. I don't see any spores. No spores. DTs are going to be on the way. Adepts a shade in. And even without the Dark Temple, the Adepts are popping up. They're wreaking havoc. As the warp-ins, they continue. DT's also on the way. And MasTeR, it looks like he has done it. I've said that a couple of times when casting Erik today, and I've been having to eat my words as Erik just keeps bouncing back. But this should be too much. DTs are going for the expansion. Ooh, will save it, though. The base is going to be saved. That's still going to be 13 drone kills, though. Now, is this enough damage? Bearing in mind, no expansion. There's no 3rd. There's no 3rd base for MasTeR. There's no economy behind this. It is completely an all-in. And Erik does hold, and he has a comparable economy. So I don't want to count Erik out yet. Not yet. He's in a dire position. He's in a dire position. He is behind. It's not going to be easy. As Adepts, they just keep shading across the map. Erik's trying to keep up. Drop into the main. No mining here at the 3rd. This time there are Roaches in the main base, but oh god, we need detection. That's here at the natural as well. DT's forced to lift. Erik, you can see, is scouting for an expansion, and it's going to be a secondary all-in. Erik, he's going to mute us. Now is not the time. Now is not the time for mutas. We need purely Ling, Roach, and Spine Crawlers. Risky maneuver going for the mutas. Here comes the Immortal all-in. MasTeR is pushing. It's not going to be an easy hold here for Erik. In fact, it shouldn't be a hold for Erik. As MasTeR, he knocks down the 3rd base. He's going to get a kill as well. There's no saving it. Erik, he's not ready. Expansion goes down. Erik pushing in. The Wilds, they graze the army. Erik hiding back. He will take down the Archon at least. But what about the Immortals? As he is forced back. Now, if he can catch that Warp Prism, he wants it. Falls on the army. Grazing the Adepts. Nice control here. The MasTeR saves the Immortals. Does save the Immortals. Ooh. Take a lot of hits. Take a lot of damage. Roaches are going down. Erik needs reinforcements, diving in and going for the prism. Oh my god, will graze it, denies the warp in, but the prism survives. And MasTeR's done it. At this point, he has done it. He breaks through the defensive line, breaks the third base, pushing into the natural. Boys are being pulled. And despite the crazy comebacks that Erik has had today, he will lose everything here. He will focus on the Immortals at least. But what about the Adepts? What about the Adepts? And what about the reinforcements? As Adepts, they overwhelm, they take down the mineral line. And there it is. Erik, he is broken. This time can confirm. Boys being pulled again. I don't blame Erik for staying in this, especially after what happened against Inexorable and even in game 1 of this series. It was crazy. Extra reinforcements. I mean, Erik, he does clean up the Adepts, but he's down to 28 workers. Like, he doesn't have an economy. Not anymore. As more drones are being targeted. Behind this MasTeR rebuilding his Immortals. Reinforcements have been delayed. But here he comes. Here comes MasTeR. He's pushing. Is moving out. Forward, taking down one of the Overlords. And again, we're back up to 2 Immortals. Erik, he's trying to stabilize. We have more Ravagers on the way. Oof. He's doing what he can. And if he had a third base, then sure, maybe. If he had a third. Nice force fields looking down the army. The piles, they connect. Erik's trading as best he can. He's trying to trade. But alas, the wall has fallen. Roach Warren as well. Erik supply blocks. And this time there's no counterattack, there's no run by, there's nothing across the map. MasTeR can just focus on his push. And he will shut this army down. Nice spread. Nice spread out of MasTeR. Avoids the biles. Speaking of, he wants the prism, he doesn't get it. GG gets called, and MasTeR, he will tie the series 1-1. Whew, GG. Oh my god. We have a series, we have a back and forth. Again, Erik, he was just being too greedy. As a reminder, as he was being all-in, remember, MasTeR was going for a 2-base all-in. As that was happening, Erik, he had a Spire on the way, which was crazy. He was getting a Spire. He was taking up into a greater army. Alas, he needed purely Ling Roach Ravager. Initially, he had a decent setup and a decent defense against the Adepts, but if you remember, he only had Lings in the main, and the Lings were overwhelmed. Lings were overwhelmed. He did not split up his Roaches well enough, and because of that, MasTeR was able to just pull Erik apart left and right. And from there, it did snowball into a win. GG. GG will play. This time, MasTeR maintained his lead. This time. Now we're getting to our next game. Getting into game number 3. Getting into the ace match, getting into game 3. Getting into game 3, it's going to be on King's Cove. Getting into King's Cove, and we'll see if Erik can bounce back. Or if MasTeR maintains that lead. Here we go. King's Cove, of course, being one of the larger maps in the map pool. Very large map. Very exposed 4th base, but your initial 3-base setup is very defendable. I would say that if Erik did want to go into mutas this game, which he has been attempting to go for every single game in this series, I will say that he is going to be more successful here. The map is going to help him when it comes to taking into muta play, but we'll see. as we're getting into game number 3. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Brazilian Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Team Hellfire. It is MasTeR. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player, also from the land of Brazil, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Erik. Here we go. And Erik, he opens up with a hatch block. Okay, you have my attention. Drone moves out. The goal here is to block the expansion and to delay and disrupt the economy of MasTeR. Let's go. Let us go. As the drone is going to be diving in. Likewise, MasTeR is unaware, going for his own probe scouts, getting across the map. Erik going hatch first. Okay, he's going hatch first back at home into a second hatchery across the map. So try to force MasTeR to react, to respond. Speaking of, the boys are being pulled. Again, a strong reaction. Strong reaction here out of MasTeR. He's got his 6 probes here to try to expand, to try and deal with this. If the hatchery finishes, then of course Erik can make a queen and spread creep and make this even more difficult to deal with. Zelda's being chronoed as we speak, and we should force a cancel. So MasTeR, he will force that cancel, forcing Erik back. Erik ideally wants to try to dip into the main and, actually trying to re-block that expansion. Again, delaying for as long as he can. Drone finally goes down, and now MasTeR can take his natural. Back at home, Erik going for his own natural hatchery. So once again, 2 hatch opener before the gases. Your gases are going to be heavily delayed here, but this is Erik's go-to build, as he is securing himself. He's going to be securing himself. MasTeR trying to recover. Again, his natural is going to be delayed. His Stargate is going to be delayed as a result as well. So a bit of a more uncomfortable game for our players, or for at least MasTeR. Erik now taking his expansion. We are settling in. And it's going to be on Erik to keep up with the Adept Harass. We'll see if he can. He's trying to keep up. He's trying to keep up. Are settling in. Hatchery's finishing. Lings are keeping up with the shades. And we can just drone. And again, because the Oracle is delayed, it means that even though Erik has later Queen production, he doesn't really need them that early on. He's maintaining himself. At least so far. As a reminder, because of late gases, it means late link speed as well. So Adepts have potential to chase down or to pull Erik apart. Double Adept shading in, but the Slowlings are on top of it. So Erik, he maintains himself. Does maintain himself. Third base not being taken. MasTeR going for his third. Now we can settle into a longer game state. And again, welcome one and all to King's Cove. As we mentioned before, this is a macro map. It's very large, a very defendable 3-base setup. The 4th base in this center expansion can be very difficult to defend. We did actually see this come into play when it came to the Minoko series against Kamikaze. If you were here for it, you would know. So it can be very difficult to maintain that center expansion. And likewise, the linear 4th base as well. But the 3-base setup is very secure. It's very secure. As Oracle dips in, gets 1 drone, gets 1 worker. Queen will zone away. So far, Erik, he's maintaining himself. He's holding on. Here comes that Roach Warren. Now, to reiterate, when it comes to Erik's build here, he does enjoy going into mutas. And again, we've seen him try to go Spire every game so far in this series. Attempt is the operative word there. With mixed success. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Spire here from Erik. And again, on a larger map like King's Cove, I do think it's more effective. Lair is just now on the way. This time the Roach Warren does complete. So very safe play out of Erik. Delaying his Lair, going for the safety Roach Warren. Making sure he has an army to defend. And likewise, MasTeR getting into his own +1 and blink. This time there's no crazy early gateway explosion. Here we go. So now, we're joining up. There's so many people that don't watch StarCraft. But yes, for that, there are people asking who are Erik and MasTeR? They're pros. Oh my god. Around 6K. Again, we've seen Erik like take down players like Dark time and time again. I guess nowadays, because there's no ESL Pro Tour, like it's harder to get eyes on some of these players, I suppose, especially on like these bigger stages. MasTeR does poke out, clearing up some creep. There's that spy that we spoke about. Again, Erik is quite fond of going into muted play off of this. So the Spire is on the way alongside the Hydrogen. And we'll see what Erik can get done. Again, the pressure is going to be on MasTeR to scout to confirm what's going on. Here we go. As soon as they try to engage, so far the Oracles, they trade well for themselves, but the Stalkers, they're getting caught out. Nice catch. Very nice catch here from Erik. Cleaning up most of those Stalkers, slowing down the push. At the same time, Roach counterattack. Ooh, we do get eyes on this though. MasTeR does keep up. Does keep up. Knocking down the Roaches. Roaches are being knocked down. Lings are amassing. No mutas yet. The Spire did complete, I believe. But Erik has no room for mutas. Not against his defense. He's to build up his Ling Hydra. So far he's keeping up. Zoning away. And once he feels safe, then mutas can hit the field. Until then, catching up more Stalkers. Yeah, 3 more Stalkers going down. Chasing MasTeR all the way back home. +1 melee coming in clutch. MasTeR has to back up. Retreat. Stage trap setting up. So far, MasTeR should be able to hold on to the 4th. Has plenty here to work with. Cannons, shield batteries. And as Erik retreats, here come the mutas. Now he has time. Now he has room. Now he has kept MasTER's attention busy here with the ground army. Little does he know that mutas are on the way. Jesus, he got up to 4 oracles. Oh my god. The 4th oracle did arrive. I mean, that's going to be amazing against Lings. And again, Erik, he's unrelenting. He's poking in, catching a Stalker after Stalker. Catching 1, 2, 3, 4 Stalkers. Nice catch. Trading with the Oracles. And these are rough trades here for MasTeR. Again, Erik, he's mainly losing only Lings. You can see here, 74 Lings and only 2 Hydras, being very efficient here. Trading minerals for gas. 1 more Hydra goes down. So bleeding out 3 Hydras. The efficiency is insane. Now Erik backs up, and here come the mutas. Mutas, they have hit the field. Coming in from behind. Erik pulling back. Use the dive into the natural. And GG gets caught completely off guard. Again, MasTeR, his entire attention was on the Ling Hydra, and he was not ready back at home. He was not prepared. GG, the mutas, they end the game. Whew. They do end the game, and Erik, he does take a 2-1 lead in the series, and he is 1 game away from winning the tournament. 1 more game, 1 master is all he needs. We'll see if MasTeR can bounce back. Again, so far we have had a back and forth, but the pressure is now on the Brazilian Protoss. Let's go. It is on the Brazilian Protoss. We'll see if he can force the ace match. As we're loading into our next lobby, into our next game, and we are going to be loading into... Where are we dropping? We're going to be loading into Abyssal Reef. Now, just to reiterate once again, King's Cove does benefit Muta play. The reason for this is because it's a very large map, so if you have map control, it takes a long time for your opponent to really get a read on what's happening, to realize what's going on. And with that, I mean, we saw that Erik, he had so much freedom to hide his tech and to get into those mutas, and MasTeR, again, he had no idea what was going on. It can be very difficult pulling this off on smaller maps, but we're loading into Abyssal Reef, another large map in the map pool. As a result, if Erik were to play this style, again, this map would benefit him. At the same time, we could see MasTeR take a different approach. As a reminder, MasTeR himself was being active and aggressive. If he takes a more defensive approach here, then we could end up in a longer game state. We could end up in the mid to late game. As we're getting into Abyssal Reef and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Abyssal Reef, we have the Brazilian Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Team Hellfire. It is MasTeR. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Erik. Here we go. I see someone asking in the chat, what is with the macro hatch these days? Just to reiterate once again, and we might see it again here, this game as well, Erik, he does often come up with his own builds. More often than not, they do actually hit the mainstream. As Senjul said in the chat, I believe Cyril, he was, someone said motivated. He was inspired by Erik's 1515, and that did eventually hit the meta. That was back in like 2022, 2023, 2022-ish era of StarCraft. I still always remember like watching EPT Americas and seeing the casters like scoff at like Erik's 1515, and then everyone started doing it. It's like, oh, okay. Like it just became the meta. But recently Erik has been playing around a lot with a 2-hatch opener, which if you're, I'm assuming you're referring to the second hatchery at the natural. It is a very greedy build. It is technically more efficient. The math was done, and a lot of the European Zerg players have been taking notes. It is a more efficient build, but it is risky. So there's a give and take with it. And we'll get into it if Erik goes for it again. I'm assuming he will. Yeah, there we go. So it is a hatch pull into hatchery. Sorry, it's a pull hatch opener here out of Erik, going for an earlier spawning pool into double hatch. Now, the way this build works here, just to reiterate once again, is that it does delay your queens. It means that your queen production is going to be delayed, specifically your second queen. Your second and third queen are going to be later than usual. The plus side, though, is that larva wise it's equivalent, because you miss an inject but you get a base, so you get the larva anyway. Likewise, it allows you to get SimCity here to wall off against Glaive Adepts. It also gives you creep to spread a little bit further as well. More importantly, it gives you more larva coming into the mid game, as the hatchery does actually allow, once it gets injected as well, the hatchery does allow you to get more larva coming into towards that mid game. The downside, of course, less queens. It means that if MasTeR is more aggressive, then he can break the Zerg. He can break the Zerg player and punish the lack of queens for Erik. This is why I'm not too fond of this build against Terran, because it is a little bit easier for Terran players to abuse this by committing into a 1-1-1 into Hellion Banshee. For Protoss players, it's a little bit more difficult because it is easier to scatter Protoss if they do open up Twilight Council. So there's a reason why this build is a little bit more viable in ZvP, more so than ZvT. Speaking of Stargate, it's going to be a Stargate opener here out of MasTeR. Erik back at home is going to be settling in, going for his third base as well. And again, as you can see here, Erik only has one queen. Second queen has arrived. There's no third queen, right? There's no third queen. There's just another expansion, another base. As the depths, they do shade in towards the main, and Lings are keeping up. Lings are keeping up. Oh. As they do snipe the tumor, not bad. They catch a tumor, both of them survive. Behind this, we do have the Stargate now finishing up, and we should be opening up Oracle. We'll see if we mix it up and go into the Void Ray, but no, it's going to be an Oracle opener out of MasTeR. And now, welcome one and all to Abyssal Reef. Once again, when it comes to the map itself, it is a very large, very defendable map. It's very easy to defend on 3, 4, and 5 bases. There's a reason why we see a lot of late game on Abyssal Reef, and winding it back here because of that, even if Erik were to play Mutas again, which this map is good for Muta, if MasTeR instead is more defensive, then I do favor MasTeR getting into a longer game state. Just as a reminder, MasTeR, he did get up to 6 gateways last game, and he was very active on the map on King's Cove, and he got caught out, and of course he was focusing on trading, on pushing in, on dancing with the Ling Hydra, whereas he was otherwise distracted. He wasn't really secure back at home. So I would imagine that MasTeR's going to take a different approach this time. I would imagine. Meanwhile, Roach Warren out of Erik. Oracle moves out. Erik is settling in. And for now, just saturating his base. Spores are on the way. Another reason why this build is more viable, I mean, there's a reason why the build is new, is because in the latest patch, spores were buffed. If you are unaware, the patch did allow spores to do more damage, which means that they're a lot more effective against the oracles, which means you can get away with a lower queen count. Or at least you can try to get away with a lower queen count. So there are certain changes that were made recently that have kind of allowed for this to be a possibility. There's a reason why this wasn't a thing like a year ago, for example. That's all the reason as to why you can get away with less queens, more so than, again, last year. Oracle dips in, going to be zoned away. And behind this, we have a gateway explosion from MasTeR. Is getting his third base operational. So far, just getting up to 5 gates, so nothing too crazy. Not yet. From here, MasTeR should be looking to tech up. We'll see if MasTeR takes his gases. That's our first big tell. Does he take his gases here at the third base? If so, then he can tech towards Storm, towards Disruptors, or Colossus. He can start working towards a later game, which I would hope to see from MasTeR. But it's up to him. As he throws down an extra gateway. It throws down 1 extra gateway. Getting up to, 6 so far. Oracle going to be zoned away. And we did mention here, there we go, Spire is on the way, but it gets scouted. Big revelation here from MasTeR. He does get eyes on the Spire. Is aware. Back at home, going for the second robo, going for the Bay, working towards Colossus. And as you mentioned, this time MasTeR is being more defensive. Like, he's teching instead of pushing. He's setting up back at home, stasis traps, shield batteries, he's turtling up. And of course, this time he scouted the Spire as well. Now, Erik, he knows he got scouted, so Erik, he shouldn't commit into mass muta, which is why we see a Infestation Pit. Infestation Pit's on the way, working towards a Hive, working towards a greater form of tech. I wouldn't be opposed to letting this finish, and it does complete, but he doesn't have to make mutas. And so far, he isn't. So far, he is not. Roach to get behind the mineral line. And from here, Erik is already up to 81 workers. He's already at max saturation. Now he can work towards his Hive, towards Hydra, Lurker, Viper. And again, he has no intention to really invest into mutas yet. You can already see that Phoenixes are being produced, so he's forcing reaction out of MasTeR. Ooh, making a lot of Phoenixes actually, getting to the 4. I think 4 is okay. Getting to 4 Phoenixes. Thankfully, he's not going for like a big overreaction into double Stargate into Mass Phoenix. You can see him just fully turtling up here. Stasis traps, more stasis traps, shield batteries, cannons. And Erik, he has no intention of attacking. Erik, he's just getting upgrades. Just getting upgrades, +2, +1. Getting to +1 air attack. Just taking. Erik, he will bleed out a couple of Hydras though. Again, flying too close to the sun. Getting a little bit too frisky. Bleeding out some units. And if he bleeds out too much, he will trigger a counterattack. So Erik has to be very careful with how he trades. He needs those lurkers. Speaking of these 3 Hydras, they should be cleaned up. Okay. So nice catch here from MasTeR. As Erik did overextend. Overseer confirms the production, confirms all the robos. Gets eyes and everything here at the natural. And we need as many lurkers as possible. Lurkers are building up. So far, 6 lurkers on the way. We have some safety roaches as well. Again, this is going to be a tough hold for Erik. We'll see if he can survive. How many Colossus? Getting up to 3. 3 Colossus so far. Lings, they do get across the map though. Yeah, they get into the side defense. Nice stasis traps. Erik trying to force MasTeR to back up. But MasTeR, he has plenty of warp ins, plenty of side defense. MasTeR, he should hold. And he's pushing in. Erik, can he hold the line? So far, so good. Oh, takes down the Observer. Snipes the Observer. Damage on the Colossus. Oh, gets one. Very nice damage. Gets one Colossus. Is being rebuilt. Lings, meanwhile, they do get into the middle line. They take in the cannon. They force the defensive warp in. And Lurkers are barely keeping up. And these Corruptors, they have their place here, zoning away the Phoenixes, zoning away the Oracles. Again, we're trying to hold the line. Roaches have a mass as well. Both armies are maxing out. Does go for the dive. Gets one. One Lurker goes down. Roaches are out of position. Now they move forward. Again, the goal of these Roaches are to protect the Lurkers. Going for a Roach counterattack at the same time. Erik, he's maxed. Inefficient army. Has to get rid of those Roaches. Again, the Roaches are a nice band-aid solution here. As he does commit, does dive in, lifts up 3 of those Lurkers. And 3 Lurkers are lifted. Trying to burrow. Erik, he's barely holding on, as more Lurkers have arrived just in time. Well, Corruptors are there to extend. Oh, taking down one Colossus. There's one Colossus remaining. Lurkers are holding. Roach's big counterattack. 10 probes going down. Risky move here by Erik. Can he survive? We'll take down the Colossus, but out everything else. Yeah, Lurkers are exposed to going down one after the other. No detection. The one Lurker. The one Lurker. He's popping up. He's trying to hold Ling Hydra massing up as well, and it looks like it's going to be a one-way trip. And MasTeR's going to lose everything here. There's no escaping this. Lings, they flood in. They get a surround. And MasTeR is overwhelmed. And across the map, he lost the base. He lost the 3rd. There was no 4th. It was a 3-base all-in out of MasTeR. He never expanded. Never took a 4th base. And Erik, he's just all over this. He holds the line. Again, I was expecting a more macro game out of MasTeR, but GG gets called. Erik, he holds, he survives, and Erik will claim the series 3-1, advancing or becoming this week's Code for Giants Cup champion. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Erik, he will claim the series. Will of course, be our champion. My condolences to MasTeR. MasTeR, he did well defending early on to build up. Likewise, thankfully didn't overreact to the potential Muta play. But I was expecting him to get a 4th base, you know, get into Storm, throw down a Fleet Beacon, work towards Skytools. Instead, he went for just a head-on all-in, and we saw that Erik, he had no fear in the face of that all-in as well, going for the Ling run-by and going for the Roach run-by as well. And really, that won him the game. It wasn't just the Lurkers that were holding the line, but the Ling counterattack and the Roaches, they did cripple the economy. He killed the 3rd base, killed all the workers, killed the base itself, which meant that MasTeR, he had no reinforcements, and he had no way to transition. He had no option to, like, back off and get a 4th base, which I'm sure he wanted to at one point. But upon losing the 3rd base, he had no option to do that. He was overwhelmed. GG. GG, well played. Erik will claim the series, and Erik will be our champion. Well played. Well played, Pappy. Well played. Shout out to MasTeR again. He made a series out of this. And I'll be honest, there's a world out there where we get the ace match. Like, I'll be honest, game 1 should have gone the way of MasTeR, right? Like, like, it was crazy that Erik had a comeback in game 1 and that he somehow started things off with a win. Game 1 was in the bag of MasTeR. If you missed it, it was on Amygdala. I recommend the VOD. It was a crazy way to start the series. And yeah, MasTeR had an insane lead. Did slip through his fingers, and he was broken in the end, and congratulations to Erik. But with that, that does wrap up our broadcast here for the morning. Again, I do apologize for the stream going down earlier. This was around like a 3-hour, like almost 4-hour cast. But the stream did go down halfway through, so I do apologize for that. I'll try to make sure that doesn't happen again. My condolences or my apologies for that, and yeah, I'll try to make sure that everything is solid for the next cast. So, as Twitch, the Twitch Australian servers are struggling a little bit over the past 2 weeks. It's been frustrating. It has been frustrating. For those that are curious, basically during the morning, every time we cast, the stream has been going down. We have resolved this issue by connecting to Japan. We just connected to the Japanese servers, and everything is fine. But I forgot to do so today. Today we just connected to Australia, and didn't work out well. Did not work out well for us. And maybe it's like congested servers or something. It's hard to say. Maybe during like peak hours in Australia, like that's why that happens. I'm not too sure. But regardless, GG, well played. And with that, we're going to be wrapping up our first broadcast and only broadcast of the day, because let's head on over here to our schedule. Oh my god, we have our weekly schedule here. Yesterday, of course, we were live with the OSC Season 12 Championship and Pigastorm Monday, and we just wrapped up this morning on Wednesday with Code for Giants Cup. And as you can see here, we don't have another cast scheduled for this afternoon. Technically, I could schedule a broadcast, but I did want to actually have some time to actually stream and do things other than just casting. Again, we've had a really busy January and February, just casting non-stop 2 times a day, every single day, sometimes 3 times a day, like you can see on Monday. We have a lot of casting. As you can see here, we have a Lima League, we have MSO, STC, but I do want to specifically carve out at least some time to, you know, stream and do other things. Mainly like stream and ladder as well. So, that is going to be Wednesdays. That's going to be the goal here for Wednesdays moving forward. If you're curious, why is there an empty spot on Sunday before STC? I mean, it's kind of empty. We're not casting that day, but we are still working behind the scenes in StarCraft. We are adminning Euthermal's 2v2 tournament. So Euthermal, he's hosting a monthly 2v2 tournament that is going to be Sunday morning or Saturday evening, depending on where you are in the world, and that is where we're going to be focusing our attention. We won't be casting, adminning instead, and running the tournament. So it's going to be a lot of good fun. We'll be doing a like catch-up 2v2 cast of that tournament the next week. We'll be doing like a replay cast later on, but for the event itself, we're going to be working behind the scenes instead. So again, that's why we won't be live Sunday morning. Otherwise, plenty of content, plenty of casting, plenty of StarCraft. If you're curious, if you want to watch some of these events and you can't watch live, then check us out on YouTube, !socials in the chat. You get a link to our YouTube channel, our TikTok, our Facebook, our Instagram, all things CranKy Ducklings. We're all over the place, and you can tune in at your convenience to those VODs on YouTube, as we do upload on a daily basis. So plenty of content, plenty to come. I'll most likely have to recast game 2 of Erik versus Inexorable, just because the stream went down. So that's a little bit frustrating, but I'll probably have to do that at some point, maybe tomorrow. At some point tomorrow, so that's another thing to do alongside everything else. So it's just really frustrating. But regardless, GG, and hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you all had a great time. I'm going to be heading off for now. I'm going to be going over to my own personal channel to have a ladder session to stream and to play some StarCraft, myself. Again, I haven't laddered in specifically how long? Let's see. 23 days. It's been 23 days since I've touched the ladder. We've just been so busy casting non-stop StarCraft. Again, we cast more StarCraft than any other channel out there, more than Pig, more than Wardy, more than Steadfast, more than anyone else. Plenty of content here on the channel if you're interested. Plenty of casting. And yeah, we have the quantity, and we have a little bit of the quality as well. A little bit, Pappy, a little bit. Mainly the quantity, though. A lot of casting, a lot of StarCraft. So yeah, I'm going to be laddering for the first time in almost a month. It's going to be a rough ladder session. We'll do our best. We'll shake off all the rust, and we'll smoosh together, Pappy. We'll smoosh together. Let's go. So yeah, with that, we're going to be heading off. Thanks for watching. Again, our next cast on this channel is going to be tomorrow in less than 24 hours. We're going to be casting the Tenacious Turtle Tussle, and also the Podcast is tomorrow as well. So yeah, do check that out. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, ciao. Hasta luego. Oh, also, you can support us on Patreon. Our Patreon is designed to fund our tournaments, to fund our weekly tournaments and monthly tournaments as well. So if you want to support StarCraft, if you want to support the community, if you want to support the players, you can do so via Patreon. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.